Hi, Sue here from Mystic Matters. Today on my Exploring Popular Opinion, I want to look at social media. I've already done a video about the internet, but this time I want to look specifically at the social media platforms and the energy behind them. Things like Facebook and Twitter and TikTok and Instagram and all the many others that seem to be springing up all over the place. I want to look at, is it just purely about money? Is it for some really good purpose? I just want to, have a look and see. Well, it's about the money. All right. I'm doing the Celtic cross, which is kind of a general overview of everything. Okay, so social media, let's have a look. Well, it's business. It's kind of a way of making money, and that's the prime purpose behind it. I mean, no surprises there. This isn't a charity. It's all about how people can best get money and best start a business, and social media platforms is a good way of doing that. So I said, no surprises. It's a business, and it's can be very lucrative if you've got a popular platform. There's lots of, the sun is like, I know where I'm going. I've got enthusiasm, excitement. I know my purpose. So people running these platforms have got a very kind of clear idea ahead of kind of what they need to do to make the money and where. And they're very enthusiastic and will do whatever it takes, but it is all about the money, and that will be the prime thing. So I'm not saying that the people that use the platforms, they don't care about at all, but it comes second to the profit margins. The energy around it is actually quite a lot of grief. There's people lose a lot for these platforms by being too open or believing the things they hear. I mean, just recently, I heard a case of a 28-year-old young woman committing suicide because of being cyberbullied and also having mental health and depression problems, and people just sat behind their computers and bullied her to the point that she couldn't take it anymore. So there's lots of really dark stuff that goes on behind these platforms, and there's a feeling of grief and loss, and some of it can be about people committing suicide. There's a lot of that also is, I'm not saying social media causes it, but it's impersonal, and there can be a lot of cruelty. There's also a lot of kindness there as well, but there's also a lot of cruelty where people are acting out their own anger, they're acting out their own frustrations, and they're anonymous, so they can get away with it. You can't and people give the impression they have these perfect lives and all this sort of stuff that goes on. So there's a lot of loss that happens to people when they get too much onto the social media rather than living real lives with real people. It has to be a balance. The motivation here is people need to be assertive. It's like, what do I want? Where do I want to go? What do I want to do? And not going to let people get in my way. So this motivation here is it's more about the people that run the platforms, because the people that use them are just commodities, really. The people that run the platforms won't let other people get in the way of how they want to do this. And they can skate on very thin ice. So what, because people get addicted to this, to the likes, of, even if it's just a case of taking a photo of your dinner, and then people saying they like it, or, people's lives become so dependent on other people's opinion, a complete stranger's opinion. When I was a kid, the only opinions I heard were the ones from my family, my peers, and my school teachers. I didn't have anyone else in my orbit. But now we have somebody sitting on a farm in Canada and someone else, living in a high rise in China, and we have someone else kind of living the high life in, Botswana, or what. We have so many people we don't know, and we don't know if they really are who they say they are. So this is where we are the commodities. And I'm not saying that social media isn't without its benefits, but that isn't why these platforms particularly are run. And the people that run them don't like being told what to do, what they can do, what they can't do, because they've got a very definite idea of what they want to achieve. In the recent past here, it has been the end of an era, and I know that some of these platforms have come under fire for getting too involved in, say, the political scenes and things like that, and being manipulative with us, the commodities. So there have been rules and regulations and things coming in, but bearing in mind the motivation here is for the platforms, or the people that run the platforms, to do things the way they want to do them. So they'll be looking at loopholes and things like that if it doesn't suit their purpose. Coming up in the near future, though, there's going to be a case of they're going to have to make some willing sacrifices, because changes are going to have to be made, especially in light of the cyberbullying and things like that, the really dark side of these platforms. It's all very well if you just want to be on to see what your friends are doing, and you happen to be maybe older or quite stable in your life. You've got people around that love you, and if somebody says you're the ugliest thing on God's earth, it doesn't really bother you too much, because you're loved and supported. But the same thing told to a vulnerable 13, 14-year-old is a totally different thing. So more measures are going to have to be kind of put into place. And so in order to make these platforms better and safer, some of the current practices are going to have to be altered. We all need to listen to what our inner voice is telling us as well, not just to believe what complete strangers say, because we don't know what their motives are, we don't know who they are. So it needs people who spend a lot of time on social media. They also need to take some alone time, some time away from the screen, away from the platforms, to get a balance, to have a better view of the life as a whole, because we need to live in the world, not just online. So taking time out is really important for mental health as much as anything. And also it's a case about developing ourselves, getting money and resources, and doing new things. So having projects and interests in life which go beyond people liking your hairstyle and all this sort of stuff. You know, we have to have something else in our lives, not just what's happening online. So this is, and we need to have a way of getting the money and resources in order to achieve personal goals as well, because our lives can go by and we've done nothing else except finding our own worth by what other people believe. It's also important here in the hopes and fears not to listen to what everybody says or to what's told us. We need to be discerning, and it's easier when you're older. I mean, it doesn't apply to everybody, but the people that are more mentally affected by social media tend to be ones that are on the younger side, teens, 20s, and things like that. That people's opinions really matter, because that's the age that they've been brought up in. They don't know life before social media, so it becomes the center. It can become the center of their lives. So it's important not to listen to a lot of stuff. Don't take everything as gospel. A lot of people lie. They say things to make them, or they give an appearance of things to make their lives look better. For instance, I could go out, visit some mansion somewhere, take a selfie in front of this mansion and say, this is my house. I mean, unless the person who actually owns a house happens to see it on whatever platform I put it on, nobody can prove any different. So I can make out that I'm a billionaire. I mean, who can disprove that? So don't listen to everything. A lot of it is rubbish. A lot of it is imagination on other people's behalf. And this is ongoing contentment and permanence in the realm of the heart. So if we can find a balance, yes, go on social media, check in with friends, check in with family, have some fun, learn a few things, but spend time also to yourself. Listen to what your inner voice is telling you. Don't listen to the people who are deliberately cruel. Find a balance. Social media is a great tool, but it is a business, and we are responsible for our own mental health. We are responsible for what we listen to, what we believe. And if somebody is having a problem with cyberbullying and things like that, then if you know about it, tell them how wonderful they are. Let them know that what is being said online isn't the truth, because those people don't really know them. So do support people, because a lot of people are losing their lives because strangers are affecting them more than they should do. So anyway, that's what the cards say about social media. It's good in many ways, but there's nothing quite like living your life with the people you know, and love and trust and have real life bonds with. That trumps it all. All right, I hope that's been of interest, and see you again next time. Bye.